And happy Friday, everybody! And we are here on another episode of Living in the Miracle. And today I have my dear guest, Wendy Behar. Wendy, welcome. And please introduce yourself and tell everybody what you're doing in this beautiful world.
Hi, it's so great to be here and to meet all new friends. So, I am an addiction therapist and coach, a published author, and I have been in recovery myself for 26 years since 1998. And I created a program, the Happiness Recovery System, for people that are addicts and alcoholics, and also for their families to learn coping strategies on how to live a happier life.
Awesome, beautiful. And let's just dive in talking about living in the miracle. When I say living in the miracle, what does come for you, Wendy?
When you said that to me when we spoke prior, when I think living in the miracle is trusting the process of life. I always will tell my clients, don't quit before the miracle, because there are miracles everywhere. And in my life, in my clients' life, I have seen when things are challenging and you don't like what's going on, there's a reason that there are no coincidences in life. And I have seen that through my own recovery, through my clients' recovery. If they just stick with it and trust that there is a plan and the plan is good. You might not feel it at that moment, but if you look back on your life, you go, oh, that's why that happens. And there have been many personal experiences that I'd love to share with you throughout this interview.
Awesome, beautiful, right? And it just, like to tune in and understand because we are so busy and we're always living in our head. We have so many things to do, and everything is sort of like rush, 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 right? So, living in a miracle is just be more mindful, practice that mindfulness and pause, and just figuring out that we have the purpose here on this planet, right? And it's not about just operating in this 3D reality. We actually have the purpose, and our purpose is just to connect to ourselves and discover who we truly are, what is our essence, and what our authentic self is. And that's exactly the process that we are taking when we are learning about ourselves, we are discovering, and it's the journey, not the destination. And we know throughout all our life, that's exactly what we are doing. So living in a miracle is just to actually understand to the core that everything is miraculous. Just the thing that we are breathing is already miracle, right? That we can wake up every morning and enjoy this beautiful day and do something whatever inspire us. It's a miracle. And I just want people to realize more and more that we can look at life as okay, it's just a lot of responsibilities, a lot of things on to-do list, but there is another side of us where we could just live in the being, just who am I to be today? Wake up in the morning and just realizing today I want to be that inspiring person. Today I want to bring more people to that level of happiness that we all want to live in, right? So it's always just kind of tune in and understand who we are and why we are on this planet, and obviously experiencing all these miracles. And when we are ready for the miracles, they are always showing up for us. Wendy, what does it come for you?
Well, when you were talking, I'm thinking about gratitude. So it's
Mhm.
all starts with your vibration, like you said, and having gratitude and seeing life as a miracle, every day as a miracle. And I always tell, my clients to make a gratitude list first thing in the morning of things you're thankful for. 5 things, and it could shift your whole mindset and seeing the beauty in life. Now, look, things happen. Things have happened in my life that I didn't think they were so beautiful. Like my first husband, we got a divorce. I didn't want that. That wasn't my dream. But it turned into a miracle because I went back to graduate school when I was 43 and became a therapist. and started a career. And then it, transformed into so many other things in my life that were all miracles that I never would think that I would publish a book, have my own coaching business. So, it's like just being here, like you said, mindful and being your authentic self, which changes. I didn't know who I was. At 22, I got married. I was a different person than I am now. And
Mm-hmm.
my authentic self, the layers keep on unpeeling and learning who I am and what I want. And what I used to like at 22, at 32, at 52 is very different than now. And it's always changing and saying, oh, this is supposed to happen, or that was supposed to happen. And just trusting the process, like I said before, really important. And like what you're sharing about the miracle. And a lot of times when you're in a funk, it's very hard to get out of it. And I will say feelings need to feel. You need to feel your feelings. You're not going to pretend that, your mother didn't just die, right? My parents passed away. I felt that. And, when I look back, I said, oh, well, this happened because, throughout my father's dementia, I became closer to him. So that was like a gift. But at the moment, I didn't see it. I used to cry going to visit him, cry when I left seeing him. But that was a very beautiful time that we shared together. So, life does happen. And the joy is in the journey and learning from every experience because I've learned the most through pain. I didn't come into the rooms of recovery jumping up and down. Yay, I want to get sober. I want to
Mm-hmm.
stop drinking. No, that's not the way it happened. I had to be in enough pain and embarrass myself in order to go get help. And because of that, I help others. And that's how it worked and became a social worker and a coach. I would never even imagine that at 22 that would happen to me. So, there are miracles all over, especially for me. And I've seen with my clients when they're in the most pain, that's where there's growth. A breakdown is a breakthrough,
Mm-hmm.
or a stumbling block is a stepping stone to something better. You just have to trust and just keep on going and, sharing your feelings and having someone guide you to become aware of who you are and what you want in life. Because very often we go on autopilot. Do this, do this, do that, just go through life. But where's the joy? So carving out self-care, because that is one of the important messages that I, teach, is that self-care isn't selfish. And no is a complete sentence. Boundaries. Boundaries are very important to take care of yourself so you can become your authentic self. Because a lot of times we don't know who we are, especially for me. I was such a people pleaser. Anything you asked me to do right away, it was yes. Instead of pausing, like you said, mindful. Let me get back to you. Let me think about that instead of answering right away.
I love what you're sharing, and it's so important to like really be aware of it.
Mm,
And like you said, it's interesting how we transition like through our phases. Like when you were 22, you would never thought that you're gonna become who you are today, right?
yes.
And that's exactly another miracle. And I love it. Like every day there is something unfolding for us. Every day there is something to discover. And that's why I just enjoy living in this, because I also notice how miraculous my life changed once I decided to become manifestation coach.
Mm,
From my corporate world, it's like I'm living in a different reality. It's interesting, right? Like I'm not get caught up in this 3D world anymore with
mhm,
all the worries, with all the problems and everything, because I connected to something higher, and I just attract the people who are vibrating on the same level, and it's so beautiful. Like never ever in my wildest dreams I would ever thought that this is possible, or there is something like that even existing, right? Because again, it's all about our awareness. Just because we do not know something, it doesn't mean it's not there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why it's so important to continue that discovery of understanding who we are and what do we want from life, or what we are ready to change because we do not want something that bothers us to have in our life, right? So the miracles are always there. So my last miracle was a couple of days ago.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened, I missed my date for the jury duty
Ah,
because I was like so caught up with everything what I'm doing that I completely just missed that letter. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh, it was 2 days ago. So I'm like, okay, tomorrow I'm gonna call them up because it was late at night when I discovered it. I was like, I didn't even get, like upset or charged up. I was like, okay, tomorrow we'll resolve it, right? And that's a great attitude because remember, just because we worry about something that already happened, we cannot change already the situation. The situation is there. And it's all about what emotions we are going to put to that situation. So
mm-hmm.
next morning, I'm calling up and I tell the person that, sorry, I missed that. And she looked up my name and she said, you know what? We took you off the list. You're good. So, but without even, like, because I was thinking, okay, now we have to reschedule, we have to put another date. Wendy, it was just resolved right on the spot. And I couldn't even, like, believe my ears. I was like, was it that easy?
Right.
And that's exactly what I call the miracle.
Yes.
Because you know what? The universe always conspires. And if we are here to do something for the bigger cause, like all this nonsense, all this, noise is
Mm,
going to be actually removed from our path.
right.
And that's exactly what happened. And I
Mhm.
was like, oh my goodness. I was so happy and thrilled about it.
Yeah, it's so funny when you say that because, I'm thinking about recently, especially, I've been having these thoughts where I was like, oh, I hope this person cancels. For example, I had a plan and I knew, at the time I wanted to do it, but then the week progressed and things are going on. And I was like, oh, you know what? I really would like to cancel it, but I didn't cancel it. And they called me up and said, oh, can we reschedule? I can't do it. I'm like, perfect. Just something simple like that. So I always think, like, be careful what you think, be careful what vibes you're putting out there. And somebody said, always is, Toby. Right,
Yes, Toby, thanks so much. She's like always joining. I just love her energy.
Toby.
We
Nice.
love you too.
Yes. So, I really, have to think about, what I want in my life, like you're saying. And it all works out. It always does. So I love that example. That's great. And like
Mm-hmm.
you said, like not to get stressed out about it. Like
Mm-hmm.
my sponsor used to say, worry is a rocking chair going nowhere,
I love it.
right? And worry and fear just are wasted emotions. I'm not saying it's easy to do, but it could just like it blocks you. And
Mm-hmm.
acceptance is always the answer when things are going on. And if you accept it, doesn't mean you like it, but
Right.
accepting it, like in your situation. Oh no, I missed jury duty. What's going to happen? Am I going to get fined? Is something going to happen? Trust cancels any worry. Yes, Toby,
True, Toby.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, it's just, oh, it's okay. Accept it. What can I do about it? And move on. And sometimes you need some help with that. That's what you do for coaching. I do for coaching. And, it helps, others to guide them, throughout because a lot of times our own thinking, it's programmed, right? It's a pattern. And we've been thinking that way forever. So how are we able to change? Because our own thinking got us into trouble very often,
Mhm.
right? So it's always good to have somebody, a coach, a supportive friend, right? Like
Mhm.
attracts like what you said, right? You need people that lift you up, that are on the same,
Absolutely.
right? That are on the same page. Like you see somebody that you like, you're like, oh, I want more of that in my life.
Mhm.
And manifest it. And that's how you and I met. Like there are no coincidences at all because I
Mhm.
totally believe in manifestation, law of attraction, and we met. And a lot of times
Mhm.
in life, I always use the analogy of the orchestra and the balcony because there are people that were in my life that were in the orchestra, and I've moved them to the balcony.
Mhm.
Changed, and maybe they didn't. And I'm not saying I'm better than anybody, but you outgrow certain people in your life. And that's how, in my first husband, we needed to get a divorce because I was on a different journey, and we're friends today.
Mhm.
Hang out with my children who are in their 30s and my granddaughter who's 14 months. We hung out together. My second husband hangs out with him. It's all because your vibration,
Mhm.
forgiveness, and coming from love, always, being what you want in life.
Mhm.
If I was bitter and angry and nasty, no way would that be.
Mhm.
In fact, that type of person.
Exactly. Exactly. And like I said, with our experiences, when we worry or when we are staying fearful, we attract more of that,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So when we understand exactly and consciously understand how the law of attraction works and how our frequency attracts the same thing what we are putting out into the universe, you stop worrying as much, right?
Yes.
Because like I said, if something already happened in your life, you can't change it. It's already the past.
Hmm.
And we tend as human beings like constantly live in that past and bring it into our present and even in our future.
Right.
So I think it's one of the miracles. Toby says, I'm the author of my script, totally, nobody else. My projection screen of reality for my unique expression of the whole universe. Absolutely, Toby. As always, lots of wisdom.
Yes.
So, just to say that miracle is to have like that awareness is the miracle, just to know that we are here and we can use our own conscious mind to command it and create our reality that we want, and that's exactly what we are doing. So a lot of people who do not experience miracles, I invite you to start really opening your mind and look for these miracles. It could be something simple as, a cup of fresh coffee or the
Mhm.
tea, or looking outside and see the birds on the trees, or looking at the flowers, right? So these simple things actually connect us to who we really are and show us that the miracles are all around us.
Yes. And when you're talking, it made me think about how if something isn't right and you don't like it, what's going on, it's like look at what's going on and flip it. So the contrast, look at it and say, oh, for example, when I think about it, a situation happened and I was thinking, like, okay, well, what do I want? Well, I don't want that, but I want this. Simply, it's raining. Well, I don't want that. So I want it to be sunny and nice. So you put
Mm-hmm.
it out. Okay. There's a certain person in my life. They're very negative. Well, what do I want? I want more positive people in my life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
Yes.
right? So if you see something in your life that's not working, like you're in a job and say, oh, you know what? They don't appreciate me here. So what do I want? I want people that appreciate me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's all about our perception, right? It
Yes.
comes to the point when we are the one to choose. And
Hmm.
once we understand that nobody else controls this but ourselves, and once we learn how to choose what we want to experience, how we want to feel, right? Because we cannot ever change somebody else's the way they perceive the world, but we always can change how we see the world and how we want to react to it, right?
Yes. Right. And we teach people, through our
Mhm.
own example. So being somewhere and smiling at somebody could just shift. It shifts your mood because it releases dopamine, happy hormones when you smile. Like if everybody just smiles now, see how you feel, even if you're not feeling like smiling, it just shifts
Mm-hmm.
chemistry. And when you smile at somebody, it could change their whole day.
Totally. And you know what, Wendy, even, like I always tell my clients, like, just go on the street and start smiling, like to random strangers, and see how people are gonna react, because majority of people are gonna smile at you as well.
Yes, exactly. Because it's the law of attraction. You're giving out love. So again, whatever you give out, you get back. Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So for anybody that's tuning in or gonna be listening it on the replay, just remember that miracles are always around you. And it's only up to you to start noticing them. And it's only up to you to start living the life that you truly want to live. Wendy, would you like to add anything else?
Well, I just wanted to say that this was such a beautiful time that we had together. And I hope everybody, it's as a Friday, so I hope everybody has a beautiful weekend and they take care of themselves. And I love this little quote that's a chapter actually in my book that says, I love you, but I love me more. Meaning that take care of yourself this weekend. Put the oxygen mask on yourself first and do what makes you happy. Because when you're happier, then you can do for others, right? But if you're depleted and exhausted, that's not going to work, right? You're going to get resentful. So really learn how to take care of yourself. And I hope this episode made you think about things a little bit. And I just wanted to put out there that I do have a complimentary self care journal on my website because I know you're going to be putting in information there. And the journal is a self care journal, it gives you some prompts to think about so you're aware and make action steps. And there's also a wellness log to remind you every day to do gratitude lists, affirmations. So it helps you start your journey and it's free. So you could check it out on my website, download it, and I just hope you all have a beautiful day.
That's so beautiful. And I also wanted to add to join the Supercharge Your Manifesting Powers. It's a beautiful, beautiful event that, just comes to your inbox, 2 interviews per day, and you can actually tap and to see how you can be the author of your life and manifest with absolutely success result. Thank you so much and have a beautiful, beautiful day and see you on the other episode. Keep believing in miracles and keep discovering them, because it's all about where we put our attention. That's exactly what we are going to see more of.
Yep. Whatever you focus on grows.
Yay!